Okay, good day and welcome back to our tutorial on Superforms, right? Now, this is going to be a very quick tutorial. I'm going to be having a full course where I'm going to talk about Superforms and SvelteKit in details. But for now, I'm just going to do a quick video for those of you who just want to, experience what Superform is. Right here, we have the Get Started page, right? And this is how you can install Superforms and Zod. Why use Superforms and Zod? You can use an npm yarn, but I'm going to be using pnpm for this. You can use any version of Zod or any type of validator that you want. But I'm going to be using Zod for, right? So we're going to be following the docs. So understand how to read docs and how to apply docs and write efficient code, right? And also as time goes on, when my full course will be ready on Superforms, I'm going to be discussing in details how to apply all of this. So right here, we are told to create a validation schema with Zod. So I'll come to my VS Code. I have pre-installed everything, right? But then you can also install yours. Just come to the terminal and you come here, you copy this, come to the terminal, you just paste this right here, click on enter, and it's going to be what is going to be downloaded, right? So since I already have it installed, I would not download it all over again. So I'm going to come there now. When you download your SvelteKit file, this is what you're going to have. So I'll come to my root file and create a page.server.ts, right? But for now, the first I'm going to make is a folder to hold all my schemas, right? But we don't have so many schemas. So I'll come here and make these schemas, right? So I'm going to make a first schema. The schema I'm making is for authentication, which is for taking the email and the password of the user. So I'll call it auth.tx. Now, according to the docs here, that they're asking us to create a validation schema with Zod. So let me tell you how to create that with Zod. So first, I'm going to import z from Zod, right? And then I'm going to save. Now note that we're using Zod version 4. So I'll say slash v4, right? I also have v4, meaning I'm going to use slash v4. Now there are other things and essential you must install. So right here you should have Zod, right? I installed these two, but you can just install the one for VS Code. I also installed this one so I can have other code snippets which we're going to see them in application. And also you can come here and install Svelte for VS Code, right? I have that installed also. It's going to help you a lot. Great, we have Svelte for VS Code right here. So let's get back into coding. So I'm going to come say here, I'll say from, I'm importing Z from Zod version 4. So how do I compose or how do I write my schema? Firstly, I can come here and say const, right? I will say user auth equals to z dot object, right? This is an object. So it takes some properties and values. So I'll come here and say email, which is the property. We have the value of z dot string, right? So I'm going to come here and have a password, which is going to be z dot string also. This validation right here is trying to tell us that we have email that must be a string and we have password that also must be a string right here. So our user auth is ready. But now we have a problem because we can only use the user auth variable in this file. So the only way we can use it in our other pages is by exporting it. So I'll come here. I'm going to export this user auth right here. Now come to my root file and create a plus page.server.ts, right? And start writing my validation code here. So in my page.server.cs, I'm going to come under here, I'm going to say export cons. I'm going to write a load function, which I know you should be familiar with. It's coming from page server load. It's going to be an arrow and a sync function. And now, if we scroll down, the docs is saying that we need to load load the schema, right? So I'll come here and say cons. I'll say form equals to our weight super validate. I'm going to say Zod 4 and then I'm going to load in the user port. Right now, there are times whereby these things automatically loads, but if it fails to load, um, you can just import it directly from here, right? It's meant to auto import, but if it does not, there's no problem. You can restart VS Code or just simply load it from here, right? So next, we are asked to always return the form. So I'm going to return form right here, right? So this will let us always return the form in a load function, right? So we have returned the form right here. Our page dot server dot ts not yet imported. So let's import this also. And now our load function is good and working very, very well. Now the next thing we're going to put is our form actions, right? I'm going to say export. I'm going to say cons. I'm going to say actions, and it's coming from the action type in SvelteKit. Now I'm going to say this equals to this, right? Now in the form actions, if you scroll down, you can see what they are asking us to do right here. So the first thing is that we're going to have a default. It's going to be an async function, right? Where we're going to destructure the request from the actions. And now is where we write the form actions for the validation. So I'll come here. I'm going to say cons form equals to our weight super validate. I'm going to say result 4 and we are validating the user auth. Yes, according to the docs, we have that if the form is not valid, that is if form not valid, right? We're going to return fail, and the fail should come from SvelteKit Superforms, right? And then we are going to put a code of 400, and then we're going to return the failed form. Whereas if everything goes well, we're going to return a message to the user. That means everything went well. We're going to return the form. The message function takes two arguments, takes the form and takes a message with the form. So I'll come here and say, so I have a message right there from the user saying form posted successfully, right? So in the request, we'll come here and put the request here. So I'll say request, and then I'm going to validate the auth user, and also I'm going to be importing message, and message should come from Superforms also, right? So we are done with our server side. I'm going to come to my page, right? My page to save time, right? I already have some. I'm going to remove all this. I'm going to explain them all over again. So I already have a form right here. You can see this my form right here. Taking email, password, and register button right here. So how do I use this validation from my server? So we have access to our data using the data itself. So I'm going to destructure data from this. So all these things are available through the word tree data. So I'm going to destructure data from this. So data equals to, I'm going to say props, right? I'm going to also log out the data so we can see. The next, according to the docs, we're going to say cons. I'm going to destructure form, destructure enhance, structure message, and the structure errors. So these are what we need for now basically. I'm going to say that equals to superforms. Then our structure is on data dot what dot form right here. So how do we use them? We're going to come here and say use enhance that I destructured earlier. Right, I'm going to say the method should be post. Now, then I'm going to come to here. I have access to what we call the bind value. And now I'm going to say form dot email, right? So whatever I'm binding must be the same name with the email and also the same name with the Zod foundation. That's why I can see we have email right here. So the form is binding to that email. So also I'm going to bind the value also, and then I'm going to say at form dot password. Now, when you are binding the value, note that the name must also be the same, right? The name must also be the same. So don't forget to add the name also. If not, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So under the form, right, I'm going to put my message. So I'm going to say if if I have a message, then I should display the message under here by saying the message. I want the color to be red. I already have Tailwind installed, but you can use CSS if you want to, right? So I'm going to take text dash red dash 500. Now this is what we have right now, right? So if I click register now, nothing actually happens, right? You can see we're posting email and password, nothing actually happens. We're meant to be seeing some validation right here. So how do we add validation right here? So I'll come right and use a p tag here. If we have errors, so if errors.email, that means if we have errors in the email, what are we going to do? I will come here and put a p tag here, and then I'm going to say errors.email, right? I'm going to change the color also. Right, right. I'll copy this, same for the password, lighten it and control D, and then I'll say password here. So if I click on register button right now, you can see that we have form processed successfully, right? And the reason is because although that should not happen, we need to also put some other things in our validation, right? Like the mean length and the what and the max length. So I can come here and say, okay, dot mean. So if the minimum length of the email is 7, here we'll say your email is short. Then if the max length of it is let's just put 20 for now. 20 depends on how you want to validate this, and we'll say your email is long. Right, I'm going to come here and do the same thing here. So if the minimum length of the password is 8, I'm going to say your password is short, and then if the password is let's say 20 again, and then I'll say your password is long, right? So now if I click on register now, you can see I have this validation right here saying your email is short and your password is what is short, right? And now until I add a valid email and click on enter again, you can see that that error is what is gone, and now we have a short password. And if I put in a wrong password, you see the same thing until I actually put the right password and click on register. And now you can see that my form has been processed successfully. So this is how to work with Zod and Superforms in validating forms, right? Also, I'm going to be having a full course on this where we are going to explore a lot. I'm going to be breaking down what Superform is and how to use Zod with Superform in SvelteKit effectively well.